It's crazy because still here today in 2025, I get I get asked the magic question. So I really wanted to make a video for everyone out there because I've made several videos in the past, and I know there may be some of you out there watching the video that this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, and definitely I want to put it out there that if that is the case, do definitely take the time to get subscribed to the channel. And later on in this video, after you get the message, you can definitely feel free to give this video a thumbs up if you guys have found value from it, because I make helpful videos for everyone out there in the rideshare quite often, several times a month. So I definitely would like you guys to check me out. So in this video, we're going to be speaking about the main question of, should you rent a vehicle in 2025? And it really doesn't matter when you're watching this video, because I'm going to be honest. The answer that I'm going to give to you guys applies to the video that I made a couple years ago here on this channel. The same answer I'm going to give you guys now. Should you happen to stumble on this video on YouTube after 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, the answer is still going to be the same. When it comes to should you rent a vehicle to partake in the rideshare industry, my answer, pretty blunt, is going to be no. You should not even consider it, right? Now, I remember back in the day when I first started out in the rideshare industry driving for Uber or Lyft, and I'm going back about 8 years. This was 2017, right? We had vehicle options that we could partake in rentals for cheap. And when I say cheap, I actually had a rental that I was paying $156 a week for. And I had to pay the insurance on top of that. So let's roughly say $200 per week with the insurance. If we fast forward to now, the price for anyone looking to get an actual vehicle would be double that, at least, right? That's the main number one problem. Now, I am speaking from a rideshare industry perspective, because when we think about renting a vehicle to partake in the industry in general, right? We don't have too many options, because you can't just go to a normal rental car counter in the airport and pick up a vehicle to drive for Lyft, unless it's under like the Hertz program or whatever the case may be. Now, the options for those people out there who's looking to do food delivery may just be a tad bit different, because I've noticed a lot of different people out there, they have Uber Eats accounts, but they're not putting the actual vehicle anyway. They say they're on a bike, and then they just happen to, pull up in a vehicle. Since you're not actually letting the person know what you're fully doing when you're renting this vehicle, and I've even seen people, do this on Turo, where they'll rent a vehicle to do Uber Eats with. If you can find, the only exception I would say is for anyone out there maybe considering to rent a vehicle to do food delivery, because if you can find a economical option that makes sense for you, 100% you can go ahead and do it. This video is mostly dedicated for everyone out there who is partaking in the rideshare industry where you're driving passengers, because going back to what I said previously, when it comes to the rideshare industry and renting cars, you don't have too many options, and 9 times out of 10, if you go ahead and you rent that vehicle, you are going to be looking at a overhead per week of $400 potentially or more. And the truth of the matter is that the only benefit that you would have in renting a vehicle is having the ability to shrug your shoulders anytime maintenance issues come up, right? That's the only benefit you actually get from it, because we've seen the way the rideshare industry, at least myself as someone who originally started partaking back in 2017, I've seen the way the rideshare industry has shifted. It was tight if you were going to be paying $300-400 a week back then in those years, and I truly believe that the pay, the benefits, the perks, the Quest promotions, everything that we got back in 2017 was way better than what we currently see them throwing 2024 last year and even this year 2025. So with that being said, I believe that we've took a pay cut. So if you couldn't afford it then, it's definitely not something that you can afford now. And it's definitely important, like I said previously, if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, do definitely go ahead and get subscribed, because there's another point I want to make to you guys, and I've mentioned this before in a previous video, where it's like, for 2025 and any year moving forward, I definitely believe that anyone out there, currently partaking in the industry or even considering to partake in the industry, do this with a vehicle that you are not renting. Go out and purchase a vehicle. Preferably, if you could purchase the vehicle outright cash, even go to an auction where you could find a steal and get a decent vehicle that will get the job done. Doesn't have to be anything new and fancy. Take a look at the current year in your area that these apps require. So like, let's say if they're doing 2012s, go to the auction and find yourself a nice 2014, 2015. That way you will have a couple years into that vehicle. I do also advise against of getting finance payments. Going back to what I said previously, if you can keep your overall budget week by week close to zero, where you're really only worrying about gas and maintenance on that particular vehicle, you don't have any rental costs, you don't have any loan payments, coming out of your account every single month. And you could just ride that vehicle until the wheels fall off, you're going to be in a way better position, because a nice chunk of the money that you're making every single week is now going into your pocket, as opposed to you renting a vehicle and starting every single week off $400 in the hole. Let's say $300 on a best case scenario, and you still didn't even pay the money to get that vehicle cleaned. You didn't put any gas in it. You didn't pay any tolls, if there are tolls in your area. But that is my belief financially, the business savvy in me. Like I say in every video, you can feel free to leave some comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. I will be in those comments for sure. I'm going to leave this video here, Money Making Joey. I will see you guys in the next one.